We're speaking with Lynne Ellis, Republican candidate for Martin Circuit Court Judge. Lynne, for the folks that may not know who Lynne Ellis is, give us a little background on you and your family.
Well, I'm married to Timothy Ellis, and we've been married 20 years. We have a son, Bobby, who is a sophomore at Ball State University, majoring in photojournalism. My mother and her husband, John and Joanne Duncan, they live in Paoli. My father and his wife, Robert and Kathy Wood, they moved up here from Mississippi a few years ago, so they live here. My brother Mark is retired from the Navy. He too moved up here. I have an older sister, Lori. She lives in Tyler, Texas, and is a physical therapist. And then my youngest brother, Neil, works for a contractor, military contractor in Sierra Vista, Arizona.
All right, next, talk a little bit about your background, education, work-related experience that makes you a good candidate for Martin Circuit Court Judge.
I have several years of experience managing commercial real estate. I did that for several years, and I think that's one part of being a good judge. There is administration involved, budgeting. I spent many years working on budgets, having to understand how they work and what needed to be done and try to keep costs at a minimum. While I was in management, I also had several employees who were under me, and it all ties together, I believe. Management experience, employee experience, as well as the legal background. I started school. I was not a traditional student. I started school when I was in my 30s. Bobby was 18 months old at the time. I went to Vincennes University, received my associate's degree, and then went on to Oakland City University and received my bachelor's degree in accounting, and then went to IU Law School and graduated IU Law School in May of 1999.
And talking about going to school at such a late age, of course there's all kinds of interesting things on how do you finance that and do things, and that probably is another experience that you can take forward that would help you in being judge.
Yes. When I went to Vincennes University, I thought the first day I was driving there, I thought, what am I doing? I'm in my 30s and have a young child. But I had school loans when I went to Vincennes, and then I maintained a 4.0 GPA at Vincennes, which gave me the opportunity to go to Oakland City. While at Oakland City, I maintained a 4.0 GPA, and the scholarships for that GPA allowed me to go throughout Oakland City the entire time, and the college was paid for through that. Then when I went on to law school, we lived on school loans, and I'm still paying for school loans.
As far as your practice, explain how your experiences will translate from working before the bench to working behind the bench.
I have spent several years in criminal defense work, family law. I've represented children in guardian ad litem work. In fact, I have never actually prosecuted criminal defendants. I consider myself on the other end, where I've been responsible for helping clean up the mess, so to speak. And what I've learned over time is that actually the family is the nucleus of the law. And criminal defense work, you find out that it affects not only the person being charged and having to stand trial or determine whether or not to enter into a plea agreement, but that in turn affects parents, children, the financial situation for the family. It has been a real experience for me, understanding that we are dealing with people's lives. I go home at night. They sometimes don't. Or when they do go home, they're faced with hardships from the experiences that they've had to place before the court. In seeing this and working with these people, I've had the opportunity to work with other judges who are willing to work with me and help my clients out. For example, I had a juvenile who was in the 7th grade, And there was a program in one of the counties that I worked in, and the judge was kind enough to allow my client to get into that program to see if we could help change his life around at an early age. I've also worked with judges that have helped work with me in getting my clients into some type of rehabilitation or some programs that would not only help the client but also the family. And I think that's very important. I don't know that if you haven't been in the trenches, how can you relate to the people who are there? And I want to use those experiences to bring empathy to the bench and to try to work the system for rehabilitation purposes and to help families in reunification and dealing with the stressors involved. And I think that's a very important situation. So I think that my experience on the other side has helped bring some light to how people should be treated from the bench side.
Okay, speaking next of Martin County specifically, in your practice you have worked with many different judges in different counties. Talk about the things the Martin Circuit Court does well and areas that you think and see that could use some improvement.
Well, first of all, the court personnel that we have had the opportunity to work with have been excellent. They have treated my staff and myself with great kindness and respect. They contact us ahead of time and try to work with our schedules so that we don't have to spend a lot of time rearranging to get into court. Another group of people at the court, on the court level, that I've had an extreme pleasure working with are the public defenders. They are a good group of attorneys. I've worked with most of them actually, and they're dedicated to their jobs. And I've been very pleased with the way that they have worked with the clients and as well as other attorneys to try to get something going for their clients. As far as improvement, I think the people we need to understand that this is the person standing in front of the bench, this is their life that we're dealing with. And it's a traumatic time in their life, whether it's criminal plea agreement, criminal defense problems, family divorce, children being removed from homes, drug issues, juvenile delinquency issues. There needs to be a little more compassion from the bench at this point, and we need to try to use our efforts to find out what we can do in that position to help the people. We're paid by the people. This is our job, and I am much more in favor of, again, like I said before, rehabilitation versus restitution. So I think that in Martin County, the people are hungry for that, and they need that, and that would be my goal.
Specifically, right off the bat, what are some issues that you'd like to see changed that occur at the courthouse now?
The easiest goal is to, first of all, I want to change the answering service. And it took me the other day when I tried to call, it was like just under 2 minutes to try to get to a point where I could just leave a message. In my office, if someone's there, we answer the phone. It's a live person. I've never been a real fan of the automated phone system, and we're there to serve the people. Now, if we're out, of course, we would have a quick leave a message, we'll call you back. But essentially, there will be someone there to answer the phone while we're in session. Another thing that I think will be very good for the people is I would like to do an evening traffic court. Some people have actually scoffed at this idea, but it can work. It works in other counties, in particular for the people who are at work, if they have children, teenagers who will be involved in traffic court, I'm sure. Most of them will be at some point. And even, you know, my son Bobby is 19, and he's gone to court with me at times. He's actually sat in on a couple of jury trials that I've done. Would I send him into court on his own for something as simple as a traffic ticket? No, I would not. Um, Children need the guidance of their parents, and the parents need to participate in the children's lives. And I think evening traffic court can promote that type of relationship, not only between the parents and the children, but also the courts. One of the programs that I really want to bring into Martin County is the what's called the problem-solving courts, and the drug court in particular. There are currently 27 counties in the state of Indiana that have the drug court. There's actually 4 counties in Indiana that have juvenile drug courts, which was, when I discovered this, I was very excited about that, because juvenile, finding someone to help juveniles with drug issues is very few and far between in Indiana. Do you need to stop?
All right.
Okay. The juvenile drug court was an exciting discovery for me, because I have actually worked with juveniles that have drug issues, and the parents have come to me and said, my child is on drugs, there's no place I can go to get them help. So I was excited to hear about that. There have been new laws established in Indiana that went into effect in July of this year to actually help judges find means to bring these programs to our counties, and also to help find funding, such as instead of getting all of your money from the county council or from the county general fund, you can get 501c3 contributions, you can get private contributions. This program it's a long-term program that will take a while to implement, but it, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important goals that I think will be implemented to meet the needs of the people. There's also a program, a juvenile prevention program, that is in the schools in a couple of counties that I work in. It targets youth that are at risk for drug and alcohol abuse, and it starts in the 7th grade and follows the children through the 12th grade, and the goal is to have them graduate. Some people have said these things are good, we don't have the money. There's money out there, not coming strictly from the county general fund.